Hey Gemini, welcome to your May 2021 general reading. This is a general reading, so take what resonates and leave the rest behind. So you may get a little, you may get a lot, but be sure to check your sun, moon, rising, and midheaven for more, okay? All right, so Gemini, I'm going to start by pulling 3 tarot cards, as I do, and then we'll get into the energies of May. So one of the first things that's coming up is, and it's funny, Gemini, because you are representative of the twins, right? Which is a shape-shifting energy. And so what I'm picturing is someone standing in front of the mirror right now and maintaining eye contact with themselves. So I feel like maybe throughout this month of May, you're going to be taking time and really seeing through the facades here, cutting through the illusion and seeing what the common thread is that connects you to different people, places, and situations. Really, truly being able to see the you in everything. And when we do that, it really allows for a deep healing, a deep shift, a deep recognition of who we are and how we're showing up and how we're relating to the world, right? Or relating to ourselves, I guess I should say. So it's like you're entering this space of like self-experience and self-reflection that I feel like is going to be a phenomenal space for you. It's going to kind of blast the doors wide open in terms of your perception and how you end up carrying your life forward, what you end up changing. Maybe you've been waiting for certain things to change. Maybe you've been looking for something to dedicate yourself toward, and now it's like the aha moment to a certain degree. But you know, with that, there's always a bit of darkness for us to explore, right? And so part of it is allowing your ego to be set aside. That way you're not motivated. You don't have any, because the ego sometimes I see as like a space of ulterior motive. It's like, I have to do this or have to do that in order to get this one thing. It's like, okay, but what if we just hold the intention to have that thing, right? But maybe the ways that we're moving aren't it, right? It's not it, pal. It's not it, buddy. Here we have the Knight of Wands. So this represents that I want to build, I want to move, I want to go someplace, taking charge, taking the call to action, being like persistence, honestly. But at the same time, whatever you're persisting toward, it's like impulsive. Maybe you've been feeling a lot of stop and go lately when it comes to whatever you're trying to action or have coming about for the long term, because then we have the Hierophant here. And there's certain things that you're learning in this process. I also feel like Taurus season is teaching you ways to build consistent, stable effort. And so the Knight of Wands is almost like who you're used to be. And now this Hierophant is like, all right, well, let me receive that impulse and find the right space for that. Find the right process for that. Maybe I just need to capture this one spark and it could generate enough electrical charge or current to keep things sustainable, to keep things moving, right? That way you're not burning yourself out. And then here we have this Two of Swords. So I'm loving kind of this duality between the two wands here in this Knight of Wands and this Hierophant. I mean, granted, they're having a different type of wand. It's more of a scepter, but it's about the same thing, right? And there's something about balance where this Two of Swords is like, maybe the balance first takes place in the mental body. I was just talking to one of my clients today about mental dieting and how it's very important to recognize what thoughts we're fueling our experience. Because it's a lot of the time, like, our thoughts are not us. They are being created by us. They're being created by these spoken impulses within our physical body through things that we've suppressed or repressed within ourselves, right? And so this Two of Swords is you sorting out through that in order to really support whatever you're learning through this Hierophant card energy. And it's like and it's so funny. I love looking at the tattered dress here because it's like maybe you've gone through some really, deep and challenging waters or spaces. You've had to really push your way through a lot of things in order to show up in the way that you are. And it's like people don't see that. And there may be part of you that's like, man, is it worth it? Because these people don't know how much I've gone through. You know, the world doesn't know how much I've gone through in order to just be here. And so there's a certain amount of dissatisfaction. But no, just know that you've earned it. And maybe you didn't have to go through all of those things, but you did, and you kept on it. You know, you persisted, right? Whereas this Knight of Wands, it's just like trying to keep things clean, and it's like they have these spikes, they're really protective, and it's like sometimes those impulses are maybe due to us being like in a crisis mode or needing something to happen immediately, right? And I'm not saying that that's not okay, because sometimes life happens. We get into those, you know, spots, right? But it's like, what are we doing to ease the brunt of some of those unexpected moments, right? Are we doing anything that? Have you been living in a space that's very reactionary, okay? And then here we have the Eight of Swords. It's like, you know, you're sitting there and you're waiting for someone to come and rescue you. There could be a bit of a victim mentality here that you're not quite aware of, or maybe you are, but whatever it is one of the main things that is holding you back. Creating a space of inaction, feeling like you just can't get things off the ground, can't get moving, right? There's nothing to receive, nothing to do. And it's like, yeah, you may have enjoyed this period of rest for some time, but now it's like you're in a space where you're kind of blinded by your own routines and how you've allowed yourself to feel. It's like you've gained momentum in allowing yourself to play that role, for example. Other side of the deck, we have the Nine of Cups reversed, and it's like, stop sitting there and waiting for something to happen. Stop sitting there and waiting for someone to offer you the thing that you want. You've got to create it, Gemini. It's necessary for you to create it. And it's like whatever you're hearing or whatever you're seeing when you're doing this mirror work and you're seeing yourself in the world around you, it's going to inspire you. It's going to tell you exactly what the world needs, because whatever you're expressing or maybe griping about is the same thing maybe someone else has trouble with. And it's like, but when you're hearing it from that perspective, from that other person or through TV or whatever, it's like you have an aha moment, and then it goes deeper, and then you're like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what I've been working with and on. So now I have the experience to help teach that wisdom. Then you step into that Hierophant space, right? So maybe some of you are creating some type of course, putting the word out there, sharing your knowledge in some way, but be mindful, Gemini. I do feel like you have to be very calculated in the spaces in which you share this stuff, because then we have the Three of Swords and the Ten of Pentacles, and I feel like there is someone that is sore from you not committing to them, someone who may be a little bit, I don't want to say hostile, but they may hold some type of grudge or something. They may be like, why do you have it so good and I'm not doing so well? And it's like, and they may be watching you. So be mindful of anyone trying to sabotage or steal from you, Gemini. I feel like that's very important. So make sure that anything that you do and anywhere where you're giving or sharing, it is reciprocal, that there is an exchange, you know, an exchange or a reciprocity that you are comfortable with, right? You know, put that person's character into account. We have the Six of Cups here. I feel like it's necessary for you to stop trying to prove yourself to people that remind you of those people from your past, maybe people from your childhood. I know I had a time in my life where I was like, oh my gosh, they remind me of my mother, this and this and this, but then they like end up also showing the like, you know, the traits that I didn't get along well with my mom, you know? It's like you can have all this beautiful nostalgia and think about the good times, but also think about the other side of the coin here. It's like, okay, well, if this person's reminding me of so-and-so, what do I have to, like, you know, kind of be prepared for here, I suppose. So it's like making sure that you're paying attention to the whole picture and not just what you want to see, okay? Because it'll help you from avoiding what you don't want to feel. So here we have Divine Masculine, get moving, Taurus season, all about that root chakra. And I feel like there are some fears of failing, right? There's some fear of, what if I do put myself out there again? What if I speak my truth? What if I really, you know, change things over? And it's like, I was talking to someone today, it's like success is really the unknown void for a lot of us. And so there is such thing as a fear of success. Absolutely, because we get so comfortable with things not working out that we're like, you know what, I'd rather just give up and have someone else do it for me. I'd rather just give up, you know, and not have to worry about these things. But it's like, it's also because what are our motives? What are our intentions here? And it's like, are we even like finding places or actions, you know, that are compatible with that? And I feel like that's really necessary. And also it's funny because it reminds me of Taurus and it's like the Hierophant. So here we go again. And so it's like, how can you rework your relationship with the unknown here, Gemini? Because then we have Gratitude, which was reversed, and we also have Guides in the reverse. And yes, it's like, let's make fireworks here. because this kind of looks like a firework, right? And I feel like you enter that gratitude practice and it's just fireworks. Or maybe like you start, really seeing the truth of a situation and allowing yourself to not, be in a victim mentality, and it's like fireworks go off. There's an epiphany. You have a tower moment of some kind where it's like the paradigm shift and things just open up immediately. I feel like it just kind of like rains upon you, Gemini, and that feels so beautiful to me. I also feel like with this, it's like this has something to do with perspectives, because I almost see them as little like glasses, like weird kind of half moon glasses. I'm also thinking like Dumbledore from like Harry Potter, so I don't know. But but it has a lot to do with authority. All these things coming up about authority. And it's like, I feel like, how do you feel like when you're at your lowest versus what you're at your highest? What is the common thread here? Like what has been the common occurrence or thought form that has been going on here? Because I feel like it'll help you get to that middle perspective that allows you a state of greater freedom and accessibility with what you want, Gemini. So let me see what else. I'm going to pull 3 final cards here. All right, so we have the 9 of Wands in the reverse. All right, I feel like a little self-discipline is necessary here. The 4 of Wands upright. All right, I feel like you're almost at the finish line. And then we have the Strength card in the reverse. So it's like you really have to work on your own personal power here. We have the 10 of Wands. It's like you don't have to work so hard, because part of it is you may be discouraged because you feel like there's so much work ahead of you. That's not the case. When we're in our power, we're only doing the things that are necessary, and we're not doing everything at once in order to fulfill an immediate need or to feel any type of instant gratification, because that's gone in a flash. That's why a lot of people are like, beware if you win the lottery, because for you to receive that much abundance, that much money at once, when you were just like, it's like you're like, it's a state of shock, right? It's positive shock, but it's a state of shock. And it's like for you to be like in such a lack mentality and then win the lottery, it's like, what do you do? Because you're still in that space of lack when you end up having the stuff. And so then there's a need to acquire and to consume, because it feels like it's not, even though it feels like there's so much, there's still this innate sense of self that's just like, or innate belief that's just like, I feel like things are going to run out, so I got to do the most with what I've got now, right? And so it's like, beware of that, because it is a very consuming energy, and that's ultimately what leads us to burnout, and that's what keeps us from building sustainable lifestyles, right? So really pay attention to that. And if this describes someone that you're dealing with, I would say, be mindful, do what you can to kind of make sure that you're taken care of, and empower them to do what they need to do to move on, right? Empower them to do what they need to do to carry forward. I also feel like there are people that do want to support you, but be mindful of those that don't and how they show up, okay? Because that's going to reflect to you who you are when you enter that victim or lack state of mind, state of being, okay? You're going to see that. You're going to notice that. And even though there are a lot of niceties and things, like sometimes those types of people are not the best ones to have around for when you do get your SHIT together, okay, Gemini? I'm just going to put that out there. So anyways, that is what I have for you. Make sure you stay grounded, stay present, see the you in everything, and really choose based off of what you want, who you're becoming, what you're hoping to, who you're hoping to build yourself up to be, okay? And choose that path, all right? So please like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Check the description box below for some links and all that stuff. Anyways, I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for tuning in. Bye for now.